welcome back to the CFC Talk podcast. As we mentioned last time, Candice came on the podcast and we said it wasn't the greatest time to have a guest on after a loss, especially after 17 games. But I guess we're doing the same tonight. But again, we're joined by Monster today. And Amart, as usual, Alex is still away on university duty, so wish him well, guys. Send him a message. In the meantime, let us handle the losses again. If you haven't watched the match, or if you've been living under a rock, Chelsea 1, Wolves 2. Another loss, 2 losses in a row. Monster, your review of the game, or just a short explanation to what happened.
If I'm being honest, it's just not good enough from us. Again, for the second game running, I thought for the third game running, because even though we beat Leeds, I thought we didn't necessarily play too well. Um, so eh, the problem obviously is a lot of people are saying because we don't have Hakim Ziyech available, he's injured. But I've always said you shouldn't have to rely on one player to do everything for your team. As a team, you should have, other guys doing things. And without Ziyech, we just look toothless. So yeah, that's my
Yeah,
take on it. Yeah,
don't worry about it. Sometimes on the podcast, I end up muting myself and then I forget and then I
yeah.
keep talking. It's been 32 episodes, bro. I'm getting there. I'm trying to get there. Amart, we spoke about this before, and I think we're going to have to speak about this again. A lot of the players not playing to their skill level, and a lot of the players not reaching their potential. How was this game, and how bad does it feel as a Chelsea fan to have 2 losses in a row, Amart?
Yeah. I mean, yesterday it was a bit weird because we started well. We start like most of like the Everton game I saw. We started very very well, and then we scored a goal, and then we settled back into a defensive setup. And I think that is what killed us because we were beaten on a counter twice, and we didn't have any form of reply. We didn't have any form of creativity up top. So yeah, I understand when people say that. We needed Ziyech. But to be honest, when Ziyech was even on the pitch, there were some games that he wasn't really effective, but we still won. So I don't really think he's the main catalyst for the reason why we lost. I think there were a lot of things that went wrong. Werner not playing his rightful position, Havertz not being as effective as he usually is, and I mean our creativity up top wasn't really the best. So yeah, it was a weird one because it's a game that we should have won, could have won easily, or at least gone away with a draw. But yeah, we ended up losing at the last minute, and it was a disappointing result.
There were a few crucial moments in the game, and even though you can't say Chelsea were um, playing dominating at any given point because every time Chelsea would string a few attacks, they would fail or they wouldn't convert our chances, and then Wolves would have the next few minutes of attacking chances and possession and then ball play. So, but one bright thing in that performance, Monster, was Pulisic returning and the way he played on the left hand side. And we're going to get into more detail on how Frank just switched it around when he swapped to Werner and Pulisic, and it just went wrong. Everything. So, what do you think about that? And do you think that was the right decision?
As listen, Christian Pulisic, Captain America, whatever people want to refer to him as, we've seen from last season. He's a brilliant player in it. So I was quite happy with his performance, and to me, he was kind of the bright spark in the team. But obviously, we saw Lampard. I don't know why he switched the positioning of Ziyech and Pulisic in the second half. It didn't really make sense to me. Lampard's done that a few times this season, where at one point he was playing Mason Mount on the left and playing Pulisic out of position on the right. And this is the problem we have complained about. Lampard needs to work on his in-game management. But it's good to see Pulisic, showing what we know he can do. Like, as everyone knows, we know he can be a world-class player. The only issue we have is him staying fit, because you know how he's got, funny hamstrings, unfortunately. But if he can stay fit, we know what he can do for us, and he will be a very special player in years to come. Like in years to come, he'll be a very, very special footballer for us.
Yeah, I think when we talk about Pulisic, I've got to mention something here. Was it just me, or every time Pulisic went down, or there was a foul committed on Pulisic, you just kind of got scared for a second, like, oh, Is this another injury?
Yeah, because let me not lie to you myself. I was kind of scared of him even playing, because I had tweeted out like if he's not fit, just don't play him, don't risk him, whether we win or lose. I would rather it benefit us long term rather than just it benefiting us short term, and then long term it's going to affect us. So it is a scary one with him. I don't really like it. I don't think anyone else likes it because we all love him. He's someone that's adored, very humble guy. Seems like a lovely guy. We see him on TikTok and Instagram and all that. Seems like a fun guy as well. And you can see he's passionate and loves football. I've seen a lot of his Twitch streams where he's talking about Chelsea, and he seems to love the club. Hopefully, he can stay. If he can stay fit, hopefully he does. I pray he does. He can be something very special for us, man. He will be. He will be. Future great for Chelsea. I believe he could be.
Amart, we were talking about Pulisic and how great he's been so far, and even though Timo Werner came into this team as a centre forward, and we're having to use him as a left winger or right winger due to injuries, how has that impacted his performances? And a lot of Chelsea fans have taken to social media to just gone and say, just writing off basically and say, oh, that was a flop of signing. Is it too early to say that? And secondly, should we now go and Frank Lampard should say, let's try a different formation? Amart, you're muted, Amart.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. I mean, it's way too early to say that he's a flop. Way too early. I mean, he just came in. Yes, he has a long way to go, and some of his performances has even proven that he is capable of doing very very well for us. I mean, the last time he played as a centre forward was I think the Southampton game where he scored 2 goals, and Havertz also scored a goal. So I think um, the main issue is that he's not playing in his position. That is the thing. He's not playing in his position. I don't really blame him for that because we don't have options on the wings now to even put him in his position. So he's not too good on the left or the right. He's not, in my opinion. He does well from time to time. So there's some games that he um, can turn up and just like how he did in his previous matches, just give us the best of his speed and then get an assist or something like that. But I mean, we brought him in to score goals. That's the reason why he came in to score goals. Probably that's why people say he's a flop. I think it's way too early to be saying Werner is a flop. I don't think. I think he's far away from a flop, and I'm not worried about him at all. Just that I just want to see him play in the centre forward role, and hopefully we'll see him there soon because I think Lampard said after the game that Ziyech and um, hudson-odoi will train this week. So whether they'll start the next game, I don't really know, but hopefully we'll see him start in the center forward role. That's where he is. He performs best. And then on the formation side, I don't really think the formation needs to be changed because it's a whole. If they change it, the players have to get used to it again. I think we are on a little bit of a good run with the 4-3-3. Even though we've lost 2 games, we still play better with the 4-3-3 than the other formations that Lampard has tried. So I think the formation is okay. And we just need a personal fit, and then everything will be okay.
Can I quickly chime in on the question? With the flop
Yeah.
thing, people seem to forget. When Didier Drogba, who was a Chelsea legend, when he came in,
Yeah,
he had a poor season, and I can if I can remember, people were calling for his head and saying he should leave and blah blah. I remember this very well, and I remember because
yeah,
a friend of mine bumped into him in, I think it was Harrods, and he asked Drogba at the time, "Do you think you're going to stay at Chelsea?" And Drogba said to him, "I don't think I am." He thought he was actually going to leave because of that first bad season, and then look at the legend Didier Drogba went on to be. Um, Now, in terms of Werner, I think Werner will come good. It's early days. We're only how many games in a week? I think 13 games in. We've got 26, 20, 5 more games to go in the whole season. Like, if we kick on from here, all of that would be forgotten. I just think people are very reactionary. And now, in terms of the formation, with a 4-3-3, I think it works if obviously Ziyech is playing. The problem is if Ziyech is not there, we've got creativity from nowhere else. the issue we have is we don't have enough creative personnel. Chelsea need creative personnel. And from what I know, Lampard initially wanted to play a 4-2-3-1 over the 4-3-3. Um, my thing is, I think Chelsea are going to have to get a deep lying playmaker at some point, someone, Fabregas esque to play, because we need to start producing or start creating chances from the middle. We don't do enough in the midfield. We only create from out wide. And teams are starting to figure us out. And if you watch the Tottenham game, what they did was when Hakim Ziyech had the ball, they had four players stationed around him to block every crossing lane possible. So Chelsea needs to start creating from midfield. Maybe they probably do need to bring in maybe a deep lying playmaker to start doing that.
Okay, that's a very fair point, and I'm going to hit back here, and I'm going to say, don't we have the likes of Kai Havertz, who I know plays a little bit forward, and you're talking about someone who plays deep balls. And I think I would say Declan Rice fits that role in a way. But right now, with the players that we've got, Kai Havertz, who's been struggling as well, can he step up and can he change that, and can he be the difference?
Yes, Kai Havertz is obviously the player too that is supposed to be creating as well. But the thing is with me is that I see Chelsea as, obviously we are a great club. We are up there with the upper echelons in terms of other clubs, the biggest clubs in the world. If you look at the biggest clubs in the world, they've got a good three, four players creating. Do you know what I mean? Not just one, not just two. All right, yeah, we got Kai Havertz, we got Hakim Ziyech. Who else do we have? If you look at like Mourinho's second season, he had Mata before he sold him. He had Mata, he had Hazard, Oscar, Fabregas. That's four I mentioned. Obviously, Matic, yeah, Matic as well. Obviously, he did end up getting rid of Mata, but if you look at their numbers, they were Oscar something like 11 goals, 10 assists. Hazard something similar, double digit goals, double digit assists. Fabregas about almost, I think he had like 20 assists. Mata the season before had 34 assists. So you can see there's creativity all over the pitch. When you have that, you make it hard for teams to basically suss you out. Do you know what I mean? It makes it hard for teams to, because now teams can just say, okay, Chelsea's creating through Hakim Ziyech. All right, let's nullify him. And if Kai Havertz is doing it as well, let's nullify him. What else do Chelsea have to throw at us? Do you get what I mean? So that is the problem I think Chelsea have. And I think Chelsea need to find a way to deal with that situation. I don't know if Declan Rice is necessarily the solution to that, because he's not a Matic. Matic, when he was asked, he could step up and produce. Do you know what I mean? He could create. Antonio Conte's season, Matic had double digit assists. Can Declan Rice do that? I don't know. That's the question.
You do put up a very fair point here, and you're absolutely correct. If they know this is their key player in creating chances, get them off, or get them covered. And unless we have four or five of those, it's going to be impossible for Chelsea to create chances. Amart, right now, with the players that we already have, and Kai Havertz not playing well, Mount has been playing well. Do we look for different solutions for now, or like do we just sit here and then just play the way we've been playing 4-3-3 and continue it against? I think we've got West Ham and then we've got Aston Villa. No, is it Arsenal and then Aston Villa and then Man City? But that's after the New Year's. So do we just sit and play the same way? Because with this formation, I would like to mention one thing. There's a lot of lack of creativity. We're not creating enough chances, and if we are, we're not converting them into goals.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the formation, like I keep saying, I don't think the formation is an issue, but without the right personnel, the formation would definitely not work. Like Monster said, this formation works best if
I
you
hate
have
to interrupt, but
um
let's put it that way. If we go with this formation, we've got to get Werner back on left wing or right wing, and then we're stuck with him having a bad performance, and then Kai Havertz doesn't play his natural game either. What do we do? Do we have any other option? Do we play Angerin in there?
yeah, I mean that's the next option that we can opt for under Imba. Whether Lampard trusts him enough to start him in games or not, I really can't tell. I don't know what's going on right now, but I feel like we've been heavily dependent on our wingers, and you can see in most of our games this season that we depend on crosses instead of working in the middle. And like Monster said, we don't have any um, creativity in the middle. If Havertz isn't producing, Ziyech isn't around, we don't have any creativity, and then it just turns into crossing, and just hoping the center forward um, meets it. I think that is where we need to change. I don't think we need to be dependent on the crosses, because when the crosses are nullified and we can't cross anymore, then it seems like we don't produce anything in the game. So that's where the issue comes from. It has to, like, we have to start working from the middle. We have to be able to break down defenses, and we don't have the players to do that. The strikers, the midfielders that we have, I don't see, apart from Havertz. I mean, that's the reason why Havertz came. Havertz was brought in to be that creative midfielder. He was brought in to play the Mata role, that Matic role that we Monster spoke about. That was Ozil role that he plays. He used to play at Arsenal. That kind of player. That's the kind of player Havertz is, and he scores goals as well. But it seems like it hasn't really worked well, and he's still adapting. The thing is, he's still adapting, and also coming back from um, an illness, COVID-19 illness. So it will be difficult. But like you said, the formation definitely, it has to be tweaked a little bit. It has to be, probably the 4-2-3-1 might be the way to go. And but yet again, if we play that formation, we'll still be dependent on wingers. And if we don't have the wingers, there will be an issue. So probably Angerin might be the. I think he's the next winger in terms of Hudson-Odoi, Hakim Ziyech, and Pulisic. So if we give him a go and see, but I don't think West Ham. It might be a difficult game to start him in, but if Lampard trusts him enough to start him in, I think that would be the best. But I think the most important thing is playing Werner as a center forward. I don't think he's good on the wings.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. And okay, so there's an argument where we could change the formation, and there's an argument where we could stick with the same formation but use the players who can play in their position. Andrew comes in, these guys come in. But there's also the tactic that we use. It's called pass it to James, cross it in, whoever gets ahead on it. I like to call it that. And we've been seeing
Yeah,
that match on, match on, match on, and then it switched to, I think, was it Ben Chilwell for a bit, where he was doing it. He was doing the same thing. You pass it to Chilwell, he'll cross it in. Someone gets a head on it. Someone gets a foot on it. It goes in the back of the net. Whoops, another goal. Or it was Ziyech doing it. Do we need to change that? And Monstar on this, do we need to change that? And we need to try and have players who cut in, something like Hazard used to do from the wing, and then I think we saw Pulisic try it a couple of times against Wolves, and even though he was like a player who's just come off after an injury, he was one of the best players in the team.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it a million times. I'm tired of the getting the ball to the wing, crossing it in. Like it's just a bit. It's getting too much now. Um, we've got to find a new way to score. Do you know what I mean? I've obviously said already. I would like another playmaker only because I want to start creating things from midfield. Not only that, I want Chelsea to control the game a bit more. We don't control the games enough. We've been getting overrun in midfield quite a lot recently as well. It's tough. The because the guys we have in midfield at the moment, like Mount's more of a workhorse and also more of a goal scoring midfielder. So he's not really the type to control the game. Kante is more of a guy that's going to break things up. Kai Havertz is a 10. He's not really a guy that should be playing that deep anyway. So we do need to change the way we play. Obviously, there's Jorginho, but Jorginho is not really suited for the Premier League, if you ask me. I think he's a bit slow, not athletic enough. Um, Kovacic is good at retaining the ball, but is he really a tempo type of the a midfielder to control the tempo of the game? Not really. So that's the thing Chelsea is lacking at the moment. But we do need to find another way to create goals. We definitely do.
I kind of understand what you're trying to say. I think this goes back all the way to I
Last
would
season,
say last season, and then Antonio. I specifically remember Antonio Conte because we used to do a lot of counterattacks with
yeah,
him and the formation that he used. I always remember. I always have this picture of Fabregas just getting the ball from the defensive area and just like long balling it to Diego Costa, who would just end up scoring at any chance he would get. I
Yeah.
think is that what you're trying to say?
Well, the thing is with Fabregas is when you've got a guy like Fabregas, when you got a guy like Fabregas, yeah,
He does everything.
he's able to control the game. He's also, even if you're playing again, if you even if you're playing counter attacking football, what he does so well is it's like he's got this tunnel vision, he's just a wizard. He can see a gap anywhere, and he has the ability to pass the ball through any gap to any player, and he's so good at that. So doesn't matter what system you played him with. In He was so effective. He played in a low block in a defensive system, Mourinho defensive system with Conte. He played in an attacking system with Spain and Guardiola in Barcelona, at Arsenal as well. We need that type of player. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of player we need. Someone who's going to control our midfield. I don't know. It's just it's really hard. Like watching Chelsea nowadays is well right now it's quite hard to watch. Of without Hakim Ziyech, it's quite hard to watch.
Yeah, I think I think I'll add something to. I think with players like Fabregas and Mata and those players, like they work from the midfield, so we
Hmm.
know that you're getting something from the midfield, and they are able to break down defenses easily. Like what you said, they have the vision. They're able to pick out pockets in the opponent's defense. They're able to find the passes to. I think under Conte, we hardly scored from crosses. I remember we hardly scored from crosses. Most of our goals that we scored under Conte were worked through the midfield, and
Yeah,
I think when you play that kind of football, like you feel more confident in the team. When you're watching the games, you enjoy it more because you know, like they will actually work from the middle. They'll actually build up play to get there. But passing to Reece James or passing to Chilwell, let them cross the ball, and it becomes, like you said, becomes repetitive, and teams are able to read that quickly. They're able to read that easily than working if when you're working from the middle, and you have two creative players in the middle. Teams don't know where the chance is coming from because you can give it to Fabregas and you put in a wonderful cross. And I think he played with Matic a bit. So either
yeah,
Fabregas
he did.
plays it and or Matic plays it. So yeah, so it alternates, and it's not just from James, it's not just from Chilwell. Like it's very difficult to defend those kind of, and I think that is what I was expecting when we signed all these players because I was feeling like teams will find it very very difficult to defend um, uh, for a team with all these kind of creative players in it. But we are not seeing the creativity play out like the way we expected it to be, and the players have become a little bit one-sided. Probably it's because of the system, but they become a little bit one-sided or something like that, and they're easily read. So I think Havertz, I still hammer this thing, but I think Havertz is the one to do that thing. If he can't, we can definitely get somebody else to be that creative player. But I think Havertz is the one that we expect to do that thing. Ziyech is also very, very creative. He's also a very, very creative player. But the difference between Ziyech and Fabregas and all those players is that Ziyech comes from the wings.
Yeah.
He's best on the wings, and the wings it's easy to nullify somebody on the wings than nullifying the person in the midfield.
Hmm.
So if Ziyech isn't playing or Ziyech isn't playing fit or he's not playing to his best, then that is done. Then the right side is done. Nobody is there. Nothing is happening from that side anymore. But we'll just have to see. I think that the issue we've been facing this season is that we've not gotten everybody fit playing. If we get everybody fit playing, then that's when we can actually see that yes, the system is working. But anytime this person is fit, then that person is not fit. So the puzzle isn't really working properly, and I don't know. I think it will get better. Like you said earlier, we haven't gotten anywhere in the season yet, so it's not really a time to panic. I feel like the team is still working out their kinks, and we'll get better. We'll definitely get better.
Sure do hope so. They do get better. But I'm going to interrupt here. I'm going to say I think it was the Leeds game where Frank Lampard I think it was the game. Yeah, it was the Leeds game where he went on after the game on his match review and all of that, and he was asked the question of Chelsea now end the day for two consecutive weeks top of the table. and that was a day before the Liverpool match. So that meant that he asked whether we're going to be Premier League contenders, and Frank Lampard shut it down as soon as possible. And he said, "Look, we're not even aiming for that. That's so far away, and we know we're going to have a lot of hiccups in the road and all that." Is our monster? Are these two good reality checks for Chelsea? And is this where we see the difference between a team like Liverpool, who's been so consistent in the past few years, and compared to Chelsea?
Well, yeah. Obviously, I've been one of the people that said Chelsea can win the league, and I'm not saying that because the reason why I said that is I looked at the
Same
situation.
here. Same here.
I looked at the situation where I looked at our players. Our players good enough to win a league? We are. Obviously, we now know, like we, our manager obviously is still young. He's still learning, so we don't necessarily have the manager to win the league right now. If we're being honest, if because I'm not going to sit here and lie. If you gave these players to maybe a Carlo Ancelotti, a Jose Mourinho, uh, um, these type of managers, they will definitely give you a league with these players they have with Lampard has on hand. So I'm just being honest in that sense. But I don't think that the target this season was to win the league. I think the target was to progress from last season, maybe take a third and go a bit further in the Champions League, maybe a quarter final. Just show progress basically from last season, and maybe even get a smaller trophy like an FA Cup. You never know. I think that was the target for this season. Next season, obviously, progress from that, and a Premier League title will probably be expected. I think in 2 seasons' time. I think that was the official target from Chelsea. I just think, obviously, as we've bought all these players, a lot of fans had thought, yeah, we've seen this before with Mourinho and all these guys, and this is happen. It's happening again. We could go on to win the title. I think that's what it is. But when you're saying in terms of the reality check, yeah, this is kind of a reality check to show, yeah, we are not right now. We're not in the space to win the league. No, we're not.
Yeah, I think this is
Yeah,
where I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chelsea fans are used to seeing managers come in first season, win a few trophies, next season win a few trophies, third season they're sacked, a new manager comes in the next season, and we're back on the winning ways.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is very true.
And now, because Frank Lampard has come in, we've had a transition year. We were expecting a domestic trophy, and we're still in it. FA Cup, of course. I think we've got a game on the 9th of January, if I'm not wrong. So a lot to look forward to in that sense. Amart, there's still a lot to build from here, and there's a long way to go. Basically, we've still got Champions League, we've still got FA Cup, we've still got the Premier League, and at least we can win one of those trophies. I'm not saying which one, but one of them.
Yeah, we could. We could.
yeah.
It
I
was a
mean,
shame we
uh,
got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, but we are still in the FA Cup, so you never know.
yeah, exactly,
Amart, your
exactly.
opinion
We
on that?
we yeah, we definitely can win something this season. I mean, so our predictions at the beginning of the season, I think most of us pegged us to win at least the FA Cup. Me, I did, I never really expected us to win the league this season. Never, never, because um, like Monster said, we don't really have that. These players need time. They definitely need time. It's something that the team is like we are building. It's not like we are building a solid team for the future, and I feel like the Chelsea board has, and to your point, Mohammed, I think the Chelsea board has actually given Lampard time because they know he's learning on the job. They know his inexperience. They know he's coming in to kind of like because he came in because of the he came in so quickly. I think for me, I've always thought that Lampard would definitely manage Chelsea one day, but I didn't expect him to come that early. I was happy about it, but I still understood the situation. We didn't have a world class manager that is coming to win everything for the team. No, no, no. We had a manager who is coming in to come and work with the players, work with what he had, and then when it's time for him to get his players. The team trusted him. He got his players, and now he's working with them so that they will understand the system. He also understands how they play, and then probably in the future we get a better team out of it. So this is not the kind of Chelsea or the kind of Chelsea where we'll hire in somebody and then sack the person 2 seasons later because those people have reputations already before we sign them in. So if they come and they don't perform, there's not really any excuses as to him learning on the job, because they're already experienced, they already have their accolades there, they have their stats and their cups that they've won already. And so if they're not performing at our team, there's no reason to keep them on longer. That's why we had a change in managers and all that. And yeah, so with Lampard, I don't really think it's an issue. It's time, and it's time that something most of the fans don't want to hear. They don't have patience for. But with a team like this, with a very young squad like this, we definitely need time. We definitely need the patience to be able to get these things out. Losses will come. We don't have to be reactionary after every loss. We don't have to be angry and be shouting. Yeah, we have to criticize certain things that happen in the game, but we don't need to be on social media abusive and all that. We just have to. It's if we understand, and what Lampard has been saying, that we are not title contenders. I think the media is also part of the reason why people think that we are title contenders, because Lampard keeps saying it. He keeps hammering it almost every press conference. He says that we are not there yet. We are not there yet. We are still working. Even when we win games, we win flawlessly. He still says the same thing, that there are still issues that needs to be addressed. But the media has put us in this light that we are the favorites. We are one of the favorites. It even got to a point that they were even pegging us as winners, which really isn't the best. So if we stop listening to the mainstream media and start listening to what Lampard is actually saying, we'll get a better understanding of what is going on in the team. So I think, yeah, that's the. But with the issue of winning a trophy, I believe we can win at least one trophy this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to write that off. And of course, if I look back 2, 3 months back, I'm going to say I predicted Chelsea to win the Premier League. So I'm one of those fans. But thankfully, I'm not being reactionary because I understand the process, and it makes sense. I think we've gone through 17, 18 managers in the last 20 years, 15 since Roman Abramovich took over. So it's about time we give Frank Lampard the time he needs, and then we give a manager 3 to 5 years before we take a decision on, rather than having the same come into the club, win a Premier League title, leave, and then on a repeat. Even though
Yeah,
that sounds like an amazing deal. Um,
yeah, and let me add something on that issue. You see, with example is with Klopp. Klopp, when he came to um, Liverpool, he came on the back of winning the Bundesliga with Dortmund. He had his accolades. He had trophies won, but they still gave him time, and they are reaping the benefits now. Most of their players are out, but they are still winning games because they have a system that he has cultivated a system with them that even when the players aren't there, they still manage to win games. They still manage to churn out games. So he's not overly dependent on his players. There are games that Salah didn't play this season, they still won. There are games that Mane didn't play this season, they still won. Van Dijk, their pillar at the back, he's not been playing. They've had injuries all over the pitch, but they still won because they are actually going through a similar thing that we went through last season with our injuries and our lack of signing new players and all that. Their new player Alcantara isn't even playing. The only one playing is Diego Jota, and still, like, you see how he has fitted in well because the system has already been put in place. Everybody understands everything. So I think that is what Chelsea wants to build with Lampard, and I see it coming. I see it definitely coming because when we are playing, you can see good moments on the pitch. You can see the plan actually going on well, but it still needs work. It still needs work. If we still need it, the players need to be drilled in it, and the players also need to stay longer. The longer you keep players, the longer they understand the system the manager has, and then it gets better.
just a second, if we can take a pause. Monster, do you have to leave right now, or
I've got about 5 minutes because I've got to put my son to bed.
no worries? So we can do the match rating for this one, and
Oh yeah,
then
yeah, definitely.
we we can talk a bit about the UCL. Yeah, we can talk a bit
Oh,
about the UCL draw, and then you can leave, and then we'll have
oh,
the.
wow. Sorry, Tottenham definitely should have scored there. Sorry about that.
I thought you had a problem with us talking about the UCL.
No, no.
Okay. Okay. sorry, yeah. Okay. So great, yeah, fair point, Amart, and I think that leaves us with putting Wolves on the back of us, and now thinking forward and thinking towards West Ham. It's always a tough game, but it's going to be tougher knowing that we've lost two in a row. And if we do win this one, we still close the gap, and we're still contenders technically, only 3 to 5 points behind, depending on what the result between Tottenham and Liverpool is. Um, Before we move on, Monstar, your rating for the game?
My rating for the game, what can you rate that performance? Ugh. It's a three or a four overall from the team.
Wow.
That's how bad it is.
Um, Amart, your rating?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, disconnected a bit. Um, 3 or 4. That's very very high. I mean, for okay, this one I can't really rate the team on an overall basis. What I'll do is I'll rate the first half and I'll rate the second half. The second
No,
half,
we need something
I'm going to give.
controversial, Amar, for this episode. We need
Yeah,
something
but
controversial.
hold on, but look at did we apart from the goal we scored, we didn't create anything throughout the game. I'm
We
pretty
didn't
sure.
create anything. I think apart from the goal and then Zuma's header that hit the post,
Yeah,
I think that was it. We
that you
didn't
see
really
what I
do
mean.
anything. Yeah, we didn't do anything. So yeah, I think we lost. So I'm going to give them a 5.5 or a 6. Okay, let me go with a 5.5
I can't even
because
get
we didn't really do anything.
5.5. Like a draw is a
Yeah, I'm
five
going to give
point
them a 5.
five, but a loss in the way we lost and not creating nothing with all the players we've bought. That's yeah.
I mean, you see, the thing is, they Wolves got their goal after 60 something minutes, and for those 60 something minutes, we actually the thing is we didn't create at all, but we were in control of the game for that period. We didn't create. We After the goal, we just sat back and became defensive. We were rather concerned with having possession than going forward because we couldn't even go forward if we tried. So for that moment, I think we were in control, but the two counterattacks that came in, the quick counterattacks that came in, just beat us they beat us on the counter and they won. That was it. So I will not really give them. I think the issue came from swapping Werner and Pulisic, and it just affected us.
I think we got 3.5 and a 5.5. Let me go center. Let me go with 4.5. Um, and, and I think, yeah, I think both of you are correct in the sense of we did create a few chances, and even though only one of them was converted into a goal, the others were just a truly waster, or at least for Zuma, we came close. The best way to put it, in my opinion, is Wolves sat there for 60 minutes, tired out Chelsea by keeping possession, not having attacks, and then they just brought on their pacey attacks, and we know how much pace Wolves have, and they just used that and counterattacked us twice and got the goals that they needed. 3 points to them. Chelsea, two losses on the road. But another special thing happening this week was the Champions League draw. I know, Monster, you have to go, but your quick reviews on that.
It's a horrible draw to get. Atletico Madrid was the worst. Like I thought, you know what? We've won the group, we're gonna get an easy draw, and we went and got Atletico Madrid, the worst team.
Sevilla got Borussia Dortmund. Sevilla got an easy.
Yeah, we got the worst draw we could get. Do you know what I mean? And that's a very tough, low block team we're going to be playing against. Low block, when you talk about low blocks, the most defensive of teams, and they're very good at it. It's Atletico Madrid. We're just going to have to deal with it from now. The draw's been given, so we're just going to have to deal with it. Got to find a way to break them down.
Yeah, Amart, your opinions on that quickly?
Yeah, definitely. When we did the episode with Ameya, I think we all said we didn't want to see us draw with Atletico Madrid because it was very very difficult. Like, I mean, they've only conceded 4 goals in the La Liga this season after 11 games after 11 games played. So it's really serious, and I mean, I don't even know what to even say about it. But I think when we lost to Wolves, I saw some comments, some tweets online saying that, and can this team play against Atletico Madrid. I think we can, but and I remember saying that we can beat them, but with the way things are going, as long as we have our players fully fit, I still think we can beat them. But if we go in with these injuries, man, it will be very difficult.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's a long way ahead. 2 months from now, we'll discuss more on that a bit later, and we'll have a word about the Champions League once the date comes closer, and hopefully we've got a full team for that one because it's going to be one of the hardest games we've played this season so far. Monster, I know you have to go, even though we would have loved to have you for the rest of the podcast. But thank you for being on for whatever time you came on for.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry about that. I've got my son
No
today.
worries at all.
Normally I
No worries
don't
at
have him.
all.
Yeah,
It's great to have
Sorry.
you, anyways, even if it's just for 40 minutes or even 10 minutes. We look forward to having you again.
no worries, man. Just let me know and I'll pop on whenever.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank you.
thanks
All right.
for coming on.
No worries, guys. Make sure you guys take care and continue supporting Chelsea. Back our players and the manager.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
All right.
we always do that. 100%. Yeah.
All right, gents. I'm out of here.
Well, then, guys, there's a lot more to talk about um, for the next game that's coming up. West Ham United, London Derby. Never an easy game. Frank Lampard has struggled always against West Ham, even last season. Would you make of the next game?
I mean,
It's never
uh,
fun. it's,
I mean, West Ham is West Ham. We don't have Hazard, and when we don't, I think Hazard was the one bailing us from West Ham games, and without Hazard, it's been very very difficult um, getting something from them, and I don't really know. I pegged this game out of the three that we've played. I think before the Everton game, I pegged this game as the most difficult one, and now we've lost Everton, we've lost Wolves, and this one is going to be very 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 difficult. The thing is, I keep going back to this thing that if we have our wingers, I'm just hoping. Lampard said Ziyech and Callum would train this week. I don't know whether they'll start, but I'm just hoping they start because we need them. We need some options on the wings. We need Lampard to play Wenger as a striker, and without those two in the team, he's going to play on the wings again, and I don't think he creates fear in the defenses if he plays on the wing. So it's going to be a difficult one, definitely, because one is a derby, and then two, they also have a point to prove because they also need to get 3 points. They've not been doing too good this season. They've been getting um, sometimes I think unfortunate losses sometimes, but I don't know. It's going to be difficult, but I don't even know what to predict for the game nowadays. So
you say that they haven't been having the best of seasons, but when I look at the points table at the moment, they're drawing against Crystal Palace by the time we're recording this episode, meaning that they're only 1 point behind Chelsea. If we lose, they go ahead of us. But right now, looking at the table, Man City go ahead of us if they win this week. Um, Man United go ahead of us if they win.
Man United, yeah.
Wolves go up if they
Wolves
win.
also goes ahead.
Um, yeah, so we could drop all the way to ninth position by the end of this week. But then if we win, we go all the way back up to third place.
Yeah, I think that's one of the weird things of the season because the point difference we are 22nd now, and the point difference between Tottenham, who are at the top of the table currently, and us is just 4 points. So anything can happen in the league this season. Somebody slips up, somebody else takes over the position. So that's why we keep saying that we are nowhere near the end of the season. So a lot of things can happen. Teams can get injuries. Teams forms can drop. Teams forms can improve. So I don't know. It's something that we have to just take our time and go through the season as each game goes by.
Yep, 100%. Um, just a pause for a second, Amar. I think there's some background noise in your microphone because I think someone's hammering something.
Yeah. Just give me one
Yeah, no worries,
second. I'm
no worries.
coming. I'll check it out. Yeah, hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. If you want, we can quickly do the lineups and end the episode because.
Okay, alright.
So yeah, Mark. Let's move on to the lineups. Not a lot of changes. I think. I'm gonna firstly let's start off with the formation because I feel like I'm gonna go with a different formation this time around.
Okay.
So what formation do you pick?
I'm still going to go for with the 4-3-3 because I don't know. I feel like it's right now if we change our formation, we change our whole flow. Even though I think we've won so many games with this formation. I think I'm going to go with the 4-3-3 still.
I think this is where I'm gonna go with a um 4-4-2, but essentially the four midfielders they play narrow, where Pulisic plays a bit
Okay.
outside. So kind of a weird formation, but um, let's start off with the goalkeeper. I think Edouard Mendy stays in goal, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I think with the formation, it you see the thing is that formation will work best now because of the situation that we have with the players out and all that. But the thing I Lampard has never used that formation ever. I don't when he joined Chelsea, he never played that. I don't remember him playing similarly also with Derby County. So we might not see a 4-4-2 anytime soon, but that would be ideal. But yeah, but going back to Mendy, yeah, definitely Mendy started. The goals that he considered against Wolves, I don't think he really had anything much to do about it. The first one deflected off Reece James, and so but the second one was was a neatly placed shot. I don't think he had anything much to do about it. So definitely Mendy,
Yeah, and I think the back four would also be the same one, or would you like to switch it up with Rudiger and Christensen? Try your luck with that.
the same one, the same one. Don't
I must like stop creating controversy.
the same one.
Okay.
I don't know. Probably might want to rotate if somebody is tired, but I mean, for us here or for me here, I'll go with the same back four.
Okay. Okay, I'll say my four midfielders, and then you can say your three. So I'll go with
Okay.
Kante and Kovacic in the mid in the center, and then on the right hand I'd have Mount, but he'd play narrow, and then Pulisic on the left, and then Kai Havertz would sit this one out because of the performance he had against Wolves.
Yeah, I think I think yeah he needs to be rested a bit. He needs to sit this one out because he's had to not just Wolves. I think against Everton too. He wasn't his best on the right, but yeah. But me, I'm going to go with Kante. My three midfielders will be Kante, Mount, and Kovacic. It pains me to put Havertz on the bench, but yeah, Kovacic.
So moving on to the attackers now, I think let's talk about the attackers. Who have you got? I think can like I would say okay. So for my two, because mine's going to be two and yours going to be three, common sense. I'm going to go with Werner and Tammy. I don't know whether Giroud. I think Werner and Giroud start, and then if Werner doesn't end up playing well, we swap out Werner and Tammy.
Yeah. Uh, this is going to be a difficult one because we don't have the personnel available. But I think I think Anjorin should be given a chance. So I'm go- I'm saying this because I want Werner to play in the middle so badly. I really want him to play in the middle so badly. But if Ziyech or hudson-odoi isn't fit, then I think I'll go with the Pulisic, Giroud, and then Werner combination. But if Ziyech is fit, then Pulisic, Ziyech, Giroud, or Pulisic, Giroud, Hudson-odoi. So yeah, that's my That's my three.
Ooh, that is interesting because I just realized Callum Hudson-Odoi could be available for that game.
Yeah, he could. He could. And I'm hoping he is. I'm really hoping he is. I haven't wanted
I
him.
mean, yeah,
I haven't wanted him to be in a side more than I want him to be in our next side. Man, he's very very important to the squad, and he should start. He should if he's fit. I think he should start.
yeah. I think what I'm going to say to that is, like we used him in the Champions League, and I think this is his time to shine. If he comes onto the team and he shows that he can be a better left winger than, right winger than Werner and Pulisic the way they've been playing. Let's have him on at the first team. But yeah, it's great it would be great to have him fit. And if he's fit, then I might need to rethink my lineup, and that we'll only know that when Frank Lampard does his press conference. But I think that covers up the West Ham game. Quite a big rivalry. Frank Lampard needs a win. Chelsea need a win. We need to make sure we're still getting back on track. And even though we keep saying Premier League is out of reach, we still need to aim for that top four and an improvement from last year's finish, from fourth place, and at least comes third or second place. But yeah, it is what it is. Thank you, Amart.
Wait,
Great having a chat again.
One upside is that Tottenham is losing, so yeah.
Yes. Even though I love Jose Mourinho, but what you did against Chelsea, you deserve a loss tonight. Sorry.
They wanted to
Sorry about that.
they wanted to do the same thing to Liverpool and didn't work.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chats. I'm just reading I'm on Twitter right now. 78% possession for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And guess what? Who had Captain Salah? No, wait. Why's Captain Salah? Right? Yeah. Hey boys, we got 2 goals from him tonight, and Heung-min Son.
I also captained him, so I'm getting something from both of them.
I blame the Premier League because I tried making Salah captain twice before the Chelsea game, but it wouldn't let me because it just kept saying game is under update, game is under update. So I gave up.
Then you did. Then it was too late. You did it. It was too late. Because when you see games being updated, then it means you can't do anything anymore.
Yeah. That actually gives us a good transition into FPL. We haven't talked about it in quite a while. The CFCTALK podcast, Jacelyn Gloria, whoever you are, you're flying away. Like there's no way I can catch up. Firstly, Alex, who said in 3 weeks' time he'll be first. He's been consistent at being second. To be honest, none of us have changed a lot of positions. Amart's climbed up quite a lot. He started off 10th place and now he's 5th. But this week's shout out goes to Jacelyn Gloria as usual. 757 points. But guess what? We're coming for you. Anything to say, Amart, on the FPL? I think the more the season gets interesting, FPL kind of dies out because there's so much more to talk about.
No, I mean this season
during
this season has been one of my worst FPL seasons because the season has been so unpredictable. Like you select players, they don't perform. You bench players, they perform. You sell players, it's been so unpredictable. So I don't know. I prefer not to think about. I've been updating my FPL team.
I prefer not to speak.
Yeah, but I prefer not to speak. I definitely prefer not to speak.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's just a game. Whoever wins, wins. But yeah, 100%. It is a good competition. It's good. It's good to keep tabs. It's always fun to just have a laugh with your friends and everyone about this. So yeah, I think that covers up the whole podcast. Thank you, Amart, as always. Great having a chat with you.
Yeah, definitely. Always
just waiting for. I think I'm just waiting for Alex to come back and we can get some controversial TikToks out of him. I think you've realized when I'm trying to pose a question that could cause controversy, and you just pause it right there and like, hey, I'm not answering that.
After the William scandal, I don't want to give you guys anything again. I've been very very careful choosing my words.
I mean, when we started uploading on TikTok, Amart said, why are we only uploading Alex's videos? And then he made a controversial comment. He got uploaded on there, and then Amart's like, no, I'm just going to sit silent. I'm just going to let them handle it. Let me not go that route.
Yeah, yeah. TikTok is not for me.
No, it's great.
I'll not give you guys any more content.
No, it's always great to have a fun and laugh, and it's all jokes and fun at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, just having a bit of a laugh in between football chats, and of course, guys, we do this on a weekly basis. We request you to make sure to subscribe, leave a like rating, follow all of our socials. If there was a way to show you guys what goes around behind the scenes 24/7, the team's been working so hard. We've been staying up on days, and especially during these weeks, because we've got matches almost every 2 to 3 days, so we've got no time to record, edit, upload social media content, everything. So yeah, would appreciate if you can add this to your playlist, subscribe, follow our socials. Of course, we're still on the offer, and I would like to confirm with everyone, we've hit our target on Twitter, Instagram. We just need YouTube. If you guys can just boost up that quickly in the next 10 days, get us to 250, and you'll get a Chelsea shirt for New Year's. But yeah, I think that's all for tonight. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.